is only war.
What is up, gents? 40k Dirtbags here. We got beer and 40k for you today. Today we're going over some Grey Knight 40k tournament lists, so thanks for clicking on the video. Oh man, Christmas beer still 10%. It's amazing. All right, so we got how to build a competitive Grey Knight list. There's a lot of stuff that we should be focused on when we're building lists. I wanted to give you a quick video on how I build lists in 10th edition with specific armies. We have Grey Knights, Chaos Space Marines, and Death Guard. Those are going to be the first three I'm going to be doing this for. But first, thanks for clicking on the video. If you guys are new to the channel, we fucking blew up in the past couple days with some of the, turn one deployment tactics, which I think on the channel we're going to be doing more general videos, so a lot of people can view it. We can grow Dirtbag Nation and get a lot of more people involved in 40k tactics, rather than going through a paywall and trying to pay $400 a month for what we could be teaching you free on YouTube. And if you guys do like to support the channel and you want more videos like this to come out, head over to Patreon. It's $1 a month if you want these videos ahead of time, or you can pay $10 a month to be competitive Dirtbags, or $25 a month to be Grandmasters, where you want specific stuff that tailors to you, videos, content, tactics that we can go over on Discord, as well as set up calls on Discord 101. So that's the coaching that we provide at Dirtbags. But for everybody else, we want to grow the channel as much as possible, and it's thanks to you guys with the support. So head over to Discord. There's a lot of guys over there helping each other out, as well as us with the Dirtbag Nation. But let's get into the video. I have 3 lists that are going to give you kind of an idea of what you're really looking for when it comes to Grey Knights. Now I'm going to give kind of just a run by. We placed #1 Grey Knight player in the world last year with ITC rankings. We played LVO. We made like 35th or something at LVO, which boosted us super high with Grey Knights last year. This year we're trying to push for the same thing for Chaos. So going from 9th to 10th edition, if you didn't play Grey Knights in 9th edition, good, because it's completely different setup in 10th edition, and the army just plays completely different. So when it comes to the army, let's go over that real quick. All right, so mainly it's the army rule that makes Grey Knights so fast and quick and agile and doing secondaries for you all over in 10th edition. It's the teleport assault. If you guys are clicking on this video, you already know about it. It's basically pick up 3 units at the end of the opponent's turn, and you get to put them back into reserves, and then they come back down via deep strike. Not deep strike in the wording, but essentially like deep strike, 9 inches away from enemy opponents. And then also you can use this for coming within 3 inches, like our stratagem, stuff like that. So teleport assault is really what you want to take advantage of when it comes to 10th edition for secondaries and Grey Knights, as well as the teleport shunt. This is really, I think, used for secondaries rather than trying to kill your opponent. Yes, you can do the auto 6 inches and then shoot for 1 CP, but mainly you're going to be doing the auto 6 inches to try and do secondaries, which is going to get us, way more points and winning games in 10th edition. So, and obviously the stratagems, I have a whole video on those, so you can go check that out. Mainly this video is going to go over kind of list ideas and tactics on how to build a competitive list for 40k. The enhancements, first to the fray is one of the best ones you could bring. Sigil obviously should be on a 10-man brick that you don't want to die. Libor, I don't take it. There's no point. And Escapable Wrath, it's like if you have the extra points, might as well upgrade another squad or something like that. But we don't have a ton of options for under 50 points really, or under 40 points, because we're bringing a Inquisitor Henchman unit in most armies. But all these other enhancements, Sigil should almost be in every list, and then First to the Fray should almost be in every list. So let's go over our numbers 1 through 4 on what you're really going to be looking for. So first off, this is going to be at #1. You want to go over basically what your play style is. How do you want to play the army? Do you want to play aggressive? Do you want to play defensive? Do you want to play solely focused on secondaries? Do you want to play like tickle your opponent and then run away, which is basically what Grey Knights are in 10th edition anyway? But what is your specific play style? Trying to figure out what your play style is, it takes a lot of games to practice, repetition, stuff like that. My play style is more of like trying to be aggressive and really trade well. What I mean by that is if I run a 160 point unit, I want to make sure that unit gets 160 points worth of stuff, whether it be actions, secondaries, or killing something else worth 160 plus points back. Great example for Forge Fiends, they're 180 points. They kill way more than 180 points worth on the opponent's side, so they're 100% going to make their points back. So when we're making lists, you want to put models in your list to get your points back with. That's a good analogy on how you should play 40k, is make sure you're getting your points back. If you put a 300 point unit down and they die in one turn, you either messed it up or they didn't get their points back, and most of the time you're going to lose the game if you don't trade points values. So first, what is your playstyle? Do you want to make a list that's aggressive? Do you want to make a list that's passive? Do you want to make a list that is all deep strike or coming in from reserves? Or do you want to make a list that is just kind of sit in the center and don't move? So that's the first thing you have to figure out, is what is your specific playstyle and how you're going to make your list. Next, core of the list. What do you want to be the core units do you want to use to be in your list? Example, I really like paladins. I like purifiers. So those two, I think I want to be in almost every list that I'm going to bring with my playstyle and what I want to put on the table. They're competitive, and that's the core of your list because it's the most points. Purifiers could be, 260 points now for a 10-man purifier, and then Crow. Used to be a shit ton more, but with paladins, it's the same thing. They went down in points as well, but they're still the core of the list. I think a 10-man is still 500 and some points, and then your captain or your grandmaster is still 95 points to 100 points. So that is going to be the core of my list, and that's going to be what my list is built around. I don't want to have too many big units, because then it takes away from trying to make one of them or two of them survive. If you have 3 or 4 big 10-man bricks, it's going to be a lot easier for your opponent to focus men down instead of just trying to kill 5-man and then kill another 5-man and then kill another 5-man and kill another. Like, if I have one big brick, let's say paladins with sigil, which is the teleport away one, it's going to be really hard to try and track them down and focus them down, because you're not going to be able to shoot them for one turn. You have missed for the entire game, so if they get close, you can kind of just teleport them away. And then if I'm going to keep my 10-man paladin brick over my 5-man strike squad, my 10-man paladin brick is going to be the one missed it away. If I have a 10-man terminator and then a 10-man paladin, you're like up in the air because they're pretty similar in costs. Which one are you going to miss? Which one are you not? Your opponent's like, hey, one of these units are going to die. I'd rather have a 5-man that's going to die than a 10-man and then have to choose between other 10-man. That's kind of what I mean by building a core of your list on what you're going to build the list around. And then next is going to be basing that off of your playstyle. So third thing is what you want to go over is secondary units. You want to make sure, and this isn't just for Grey Knights, I say this all the time with Grey Knights, is kill their secondary units, because all of our units are secondary units. So every unit that we have in Grey Knights that has teleporter salt, which is everybody but servitors, they can basically get secondaries the entire game for you, no matter what. They could always teleport assault, come back down completely on the other side of the table and get you secondary points. So secondary units, this is kind of a broad term. You want to make sure that you bring at least maybe 200 to 300 points of secondary units in your list. For us, it's an assassin that's still very, very good for Grey Knights, because you can vect the reroll strat. So when you vect the reroll strat, most of the opponent's army, you're going to have to get a 9 to charge our Grey Knights, because if they come within 9, we're going to miss the way. So they want to stay outside of 9 to try and make that 9-inch charge, and if they fail it, they're going to re-roll it. Once they re-roll the first time, vect it, and then boom, now the next re-roll is going to be, and not just the re-roll charge, but any re-roll is going to cost them 2 CP. So it kind of messes with their stratagem a lot, and their CP and stuff like that. So Assassin is still very good. She has her own built-in teleport assault. So we're able to teleport assault 3 of our units, and then she has her own special teleport assault rolling where she can pick up herself every single turn and come back down and do secondaries and actions. And she's one model, one really tiny base, so that way she can kind of be all over the board every single turn. So, and she's pretty good at killing characters, like really soft character. She can come in and just kill something for assassinate. She's really good for Grey Knights. So that is a secondary, the unit that you want to really think about adding in every single list. And then our other option for secondary units would be henchmen that are 40 points, Voidsmen and Arms, which are 50 points. Those basically took over our 35-point exaction squads. So you can still bring in a 40-point henchman squad, which basically just stays in reserves, comes on when you need them, or try to block out one side of the table until you need them again. So I did a whole video on how to set up turn 1 for secondaries. So with henchmen and all these people walking from the table edge, you can walk them in turn 3 if you didn't get any good secondaries yet, spread them out 2 inches from each other in the corner of a map, so that way that one side of the table basically is blocked off by 4 models. So that's an example of what you want to be doing with your secondary units with henchmen, voidsmen, assassins, and anything else. Again, with Grey Knights, a little bit different because we have strikes, we have terminators, we have really any unit we have in our codex could be a secondary unit. So with this, secondary units, I mean as maybe a knight that you want to bring, which doesn't really do secondaries for you. It's mainly a killing thing. For me, it's assassin and extra units like henchman or another assassin or boardsman. So those are my secondary units I really want to bring every single time. And then finally, test. I made a how to prepare GT video, which only has like 300 views on YouTube, which is one of the best videos I made, honestly. But it was when I was starting out, and if you want to go check that out, go check that out. But it basically goes over when you test games, you don't want to change your list up completely. That's basically resetting your test, resetting your list, and just starting from scratch. That is if it's like you completely just hate the play style, hate the units that you brought, stuff like that. But when I mean test is you want to change tweaks, change little things, change an enhancement on one squad to another squad, change a 5-man to a 10-man, change like one squad for a purifier and a purgation. Like those are the little changes and one, two maybe, not take out half your army and then trade it for another half of the army, bring 4 knights instead of 0 knights, bring 3 assassins instead of, like, that's not the change I mean. I mean test games, so that way when you play a game and you're like, all right, this unit didn't perform as much as I like it to, I'm going to change maybe deploying it over here, putting into a 5-man or having 2 5-mans instead of 1 big 10-man, taking out this character and putting in this character, but still keeping the unit the way it is, stuff like that. Test out different weapons. That's kind of what I mean by testing. So these 4 things, if you use this to build every single list that you're trying to, it's really going to help start your mind and brainstorm on what kind of thing you're going for. I made 3 lists for you guys, so that way we can go through each list and I give you my mindset on why I'm bringing these specific ones and what it's going to bring in your game in 10th edition specifically. And I know a lot of people, they just kind of like copy lists, either online, Goonheimer, or whatever, or YouTube. I'm going to have a link of all these 3 in a paste bin in the description below, so you guys can copy them if you want. We're running 6 Dread Knights, by the way, on Monday, so just stay tuned for that. 10 Paladins. This is basically my main competitive tournament list. So if you want the best one that I've played in Nova, this is the one that we're going to start with. So Brotherhood Librarian is the one that I added since Nova. We went 6-2 at Nova before the nerf when Eldar was fucking crazy. Just give you insight, like I love Grey Knights and we're really good at it. It was just a completely different play style that it's not my play style, but it's still really fun and really good. So if you use like this list, you're going to do very well. Brotherhood Librarian. First of the Fray. I love First of the Fray on the Libby unit because you put them in a Terminator, 5-man Terminator unit where you actually have 17 OBSEC with this unit. A lot of stuff I'm going to say in this list is going to be compared to the other 2 lists that we go over. So I'm going to spend more time on this list than the other 2 lists that we go over. So First of the Fray, whoever you put that on, you really want to think about coming in for a secondary, taking over a point. If you put on a strike squad and you come in first of the fray and then next turn you get, a sticky objective, that could be a good idea. But with this specifically, I can come down, focus down something 18 inches away with my Vortex of Doom, and kind of stay hidden from most of the army as long as you like come down and kind of kill units that have pregame. So infiltrators, stuff like that. You come down usually outside of 12 because they're 12-inch bubbles, and then you kind of shoot them with Vortex Doom because that gets around lone op. So that's another thing that it gets around lone op. So if you have like a assassin on the other side of the table, it can come down turn 1 and just pop an assassin just because you brought first of the fray, and all you have to do is roll 2 up, right? Just roll 2 up, it's fine. So that's why I like the Librarian, is just for like a quick turn 1, come down, be on objective, 17 OBSEC, and killing characters. Next is Castle Crow, one of my favorite models. He's so cool, the lore, everything about him, and they made him really good in this edition. He can block a damage if he's by himself. He has precision, which is amazing. He's got devastating wounds on his weapon, and his weapon isn't psychic. So a lot of psychic defense doesn't work against Castle and Crow. So he's got a free precision attack, 5 attacks hitting on 2s with purifiers. You can actually make that +1 to wound if half of them are dead. So I can use my Crow and Purifiers pretty aggressively. I kind of tempt them to kill some of them. So that way most of my Purify Flames hit on 2s, anti-infantry 2+, so you're hitting on 2s, wounding on 2s. And then if they kill enough of them, you're wounding on most of the time 2s in combat as well. So Crow, I love. They actually reduced his points He was, I believe, 95 points. Now he's 75 points, which is crazy. 20-point difference, which is nuts. Then we have our Grandmaster. I still like the Grandmaster, even though our stratagems are a little bit tweaked, but it's better because now others can't vect our mist. So with Grandmaster, you're mainly using the free strat to do devastating wounds. So when you really need to get those wounds output with your Paladin squad, you can spend the free stratagem that he has to do devastating wounds, which is a battle tactic. So devastating wounds on a 10-man Paladin brick, charging in, hitting on 2s, and then any 6s do devastating wounds with 2 damage is pretty fucking good. So it's really good at killing enemies that don't have feeling of pain, especially big monsters, things of that nature. And with Grandmasters, going into big things that have -1 damage, -1 wounds, stuff like that, your whole Paladin brick is going to be ignoring that to shooting with all the side cannons in the unit, as well as in melee. They hit really, really hard in melee when they get to the target, and they ignore all the modifiers. So -1 to hit, -1 to wound, -1 damage, any of those modifiers, you're going to be able to ignore with Death Guard in the meta now, with all their minuses and shit. Like, you're going to be able to ignore all of that. With the big demons, like the Ynnari chick with the -1 to wound or half damage or whatever it may be, you're going to ignore all that. So them charging in and just spending 2 CP or a free strat, and then just kind of killing the Ynnari chick on the charge. This guy is bringing the Sigil with a side cannon, but the Sigil is what's going to keep your 10-man Paladin brick. My list, again, is built around Crow and the Purifiers, and then Grandmaster and Paladins. That's what it's built around. The other ones are all 5-mans, and the rest of it is doing secondaries. So the Grandmaster with the Sigil is going to be able to let me play aggressive, coming down with Teleport Assault in front of an entire army if you need to, or stealing an objective. That way, if they back up and shoot you, or back up you can mist away, or whatever it may be, they're really aggressive until Sigil's gone. Once Sigil's gone, you then kind of have to be more like, all right, when am I going to commit them? When am I going to throw them in and expect them to die? Stuff like that. Paladins with the Grandmaster, you get -1 to wound or anything strength 6 or higher, which is also really good and really tanky. So that's why we bring the Grandmaster over the Brother Captain, which just has exploding 6s. The fact that we don't have rerolls, if we had anything like the Space Marines have, we could keep it, but I don't like the Brother Captain over the fact that you don't ignore the modifiers like the Grandmaster, and you don't have that free strat that potentially could be game-changing for 2 CP once per game. So should be once per turn, but hey, it's once per game. So Grandmaster is in there. Then we have Drago. Drago, I think, should be in every single Grey Knight list 100% of the time. 100% of the time. Definitely get a Drago. Why is Drago so good? Drago, I think, should be a lot better than he is. When he first came in, he was 155 points. Now he's 125. But he should be fucking insane. Like, some of these characters in 40k have way more rules than what Drago has, but Drago can fucking trump any single one of them. Hands down, he kills everything in the warp. He kills every demon prince. They literally run away from him in the warp. That's a whole fucking lore thing with Drago. But Drago has +3 on the charge coming in from Deep Strike once per game. And a 4 mortal wound save with the unit. That's it. That's all Drago has. But hey, we're using it specifically for the +3 charges. So he's going to start in Deep Strike every single time with the 5-man Terminator squad. There's 17 OPSEC with the Terminator squad. So he's going to come down and solo charge, or come down and charge any demon on the other side of the table. You have Forge Fiends, you have Obliterators, you have Ynnari, Demon Chick, you have Karn, the guy from Eldar. Big demon guy. Yes, that guy. Anything with a demon keyword. Death Guard, the demon engines. Mortarion. So any, most of the Primarchs. Anything with the demon keyword. He can come down, make a 6-inch charge, have all of them have sustain hits with the Terminators. You can spend 2 CP if you want him to just do dev wounds on his 3 damage AP4 weapon. Wounding on 2s, because it's anti-demon 2+. That's what your Drago is going to be focused on. If there's no demons on the other side of the table, he's going to come down, charge, steal an objective, and just disrupt the backfield. He also can, obviously, mist, do -1 AP, stuff like that. So he still can be really tanky and dangerous in the backfield coming in turn 2. You don't really need to rapid ingress because you really want to use his +3 charge once per game coming in from deep strike, because you can only do it initially on deep strike. You can't come in from teleport assault and do it. It has to be coming in from reserves via deep strike and then make that charge. So you usually pair him with a 5-man Terminator squad. That's usually all he needs. Come down, kill something, take over an objective, and get you some secondary points. So I actually use Drago more of secondary points if there's no demons on the other side of the table. So then we have our 2 5-man Terminator bricks. You can try Psy Cannons or Silencer or Incinerators, completely up to you. I like the Psy Cannons, just more potential AP1 2 damage shots. Sometimes they roll bad, so you can do 2 damage over 1 damage. So I like the Psy Cannons on both my squads. So 2 Terminator squads, one with the Librarian, one with Drago. And then we have Strike Squad. So Strike Squad at minimum 1 should be in every single list. Minimum should be 1 Strike Squad, and the reason why is because they have almost every rule in the book. So they have Teleport Assault, which is the Grey Knights. They have Scout Move 6, which is insane, and they have Sticky. They gave a Teleporting Assault unit, army, with sticky objectives. So basically, you make your home objective sticky. Turn 1, if they have like no deep strike, no reserves, you basically just run around the table and keeping that backfield sticky the entire time. You could bring on your Voidsman or whatever to kind of just camp the backfield and just sit there for the rest of the game, but it's sticky forever. It's awesome. And then you can kind of put them on the top corner, make that sticky, go take over an objective, make that sticky. Like, sticky objectives in Grey Knights is insane. But them having a scout move gives you more opportunity to do secondaries turn 1 in our turn 1's video. The Grey Knight one should be coming up soon. But the turn 1 video, where you're setting up your secondaries, the ones that are harder to go into, like the middle and cleanse and aerial denial and stuff like that, that's going to be easier for our strike squad turn 1. So you can deploy aggressively as long as you're 6 inches on the other side of the wall. And then if you don't go first, go on the other side of the wall. If you do go first, just move forward, and then you can do stuff. Plus, they're 2-up saves. So 125 points for a 5-man unit with 2-up saves and teleport assault. They can auto advance 6 inches. It has sticky and scout. Not bad for 125 points. Interceptor squad, also another very good unit just to do secondaries. They're mainly there to do secondaries. They're not there like 9th edition where you could hop out of Rhino 15 inches and then charge and kill shit with all the rerolls that we used to have. Now we have no rerolls. So basically they're solely coming in here for teleport assault, behind enemy lines, engage in all fronts, cleanse, aerial denial, basically any secondary that we have. That's what these guys are in the list for. What's also good, I saw an Eldar player do this. I was like, holy shit, we have the same thing where they can deep strike down, shoot something, and then move 6 inches onto an objective to steal an objective. So sometimes we have to spend 1 CP to come down 3 inches on an objective back here, and then we can't do it again over here. So with these guys, they can come down outside 9 inches away, and then with that 6-inch move, they're basically the same strat, because now they're ending up like right outside 3 inches, which is what the other strat is. But now you're on an objective with 5 guys. So again, Psycan, Incinerator, completely up to you. Maybe Incinerator might be better, but I have mine like shooting from afar. So I kind of hop out, shoot, and then move again. Or I hop out and then you can auto advance 6, spend 1 CP, shoot, and then 6 again. So they have really far movement. I've played these guys a lot since Nova, and they actually performed really well in Nova, so I kept them in the list because of all the secondaries that they could do. Then we have obviously our big boys. They used to be 550, I think, so they actually went down 100 points. Paladin squad, we have 5 side cannons. That's really the main reason why we bring the Paladins, because they hit on 2s and the side cannons. So 5 side cannons that you could bring, plus the Grandmaster's 6 side cannons in the squad. They're -1 to wound if you're strength 6 or higher, and they're a 2-up, 4-up. With 3 wounds, toughness 5. So standard Terminator loadout, but the -1 to wound is what makes them even more tankier than most Terminators. And with sigil on the unit, they're really hard again to track down. So Paladin squads still really good with the Grandmaster, ignoring all the modifiers. Next is our second brick, which is another 10-man. It's Purifier squad. So we have 260 points. These guys went down as well, about 40 points. So 4 points a model. Then with Crow, their Purify Flame, which is the anti-infantry 2+, doubles. So now each model has 2 Purify Flame, which is just crazy, instead of 1. So instead of 10 shots, you now have 20 shots, hitting on 3s, you can spend 1 CP to hit on 2s if you come in from teleport assault, or I think if you advance, you could do it. Or one of them dies, just one, then the whole unit hits on 2s. So you have that, you have all the bolters, you have all of the flamers. So I bring 4 incinerators because they're usually coming within 12 inches. So they come down and then shoot 12 inches. They're really good at killing infantry. Basically, they can kill infantry characters pretty well. They can kill infantry blobs really well. They can kill chaff, screening units, all that stuff. They're really good at killing infantry because of all of the weapons that they're shooting. The amount of dice that I roll in one activation with my Purifier squad, people just think like we're cheating. Like, how many fucking shots do these guys have? How many, it's basically 4d6 flamers, and then you have 6 times 4, 24 bolter shots, plus crows 4 bolter shots, and then you have 24 purified flames. So it's 20, 64, 68, plus 46 shots in one activation. That's why people think we cheat with this. All right, but Purified Flame is really good. So Purifiers I still really like. Then here's our ally. This is the third part of it. So allied units, we have the Cald Assassin, like I said, still really good for Grey Knights. She's going to be doing secondaries as well as all the other people in the list. Like, her sole focus is to do secondaries. Her second focus is to screen out or kill, and a third focus to kill characters. That's kind of the order that you want your Cald Assassin. If she dies really early, you didn't get her points back, especially if you didn't even Vect with her. If you need to do Deep Strike, her Vect still works in Deep Strike. Inquisitor Henchman, 60 points. I think this was changed. Let me see if I changed this for you guys. So I think I put Voidsman in here. So yeah, I put Voidsman in arms instead of that. No, Paladins. Sorry, guys. So we put Inquisitor Henchman. All right, so I thought 60 points was good, but I reread the rules, and the Mystic you don't need because it doesn't work. So the Mystic only works if you have an Inquisitor leading the unit of Inquisitor Henchmen, then you get the 12-inch aura bubble. So make sure you don't do that by accident, because I almost did it by accident. So you can get rid of this, which is 20 points. That gives you 2 things of 30, or if you do 50, you're down by 10 points. So I mean, it's up to you if you just want to play down 10 points, because there's really nothing else we can add in this army. Like this list is pretty solid. Like, there's no enhancements we can add, no really units that we want to change, unless we want to do, like, instead of a I like 2 5-man Terminators, so I don't want to do a Paladin because they can't come back. So honestly, like, you have 50 points, 60 points to play around with. That's completely up to you. You can do 140-man, have 20 points left over, or 150-man Voidsman arms. So it's like that's your call. Or 150 points to add just 3 Voidsman units if you really want, if you want to see the Cald Assassin out. So those are the secondary units, and that's our main Grey Knight list, guys. Again, in the mindset, every unit has its role on what you want to focus on what you want to go after and kind of be a bully with. So this play style is more of like, just focus on secondaries and kill their secondary targets. So if your models can kill their secondary targets, your whole army can do secondaries. So you're going to win most of your games if you focus that down. Let's go into 2 other fun lists for you guys. All right, here's a list I played about 2-3 times. It is a Land Raider. First time I played it was without a Tech Marine. I would never play it again without a Tech Marine. We have a couple different points left over, so there's a couple wiggle room in this list, but we have 2 Tech Marines. And the reason we have 2 is because you can actually buff the Land Raider and heal the Land Raider twice now. Before, it used to be once. But what I mean by heal is in the command phase or the movement phase, you can heal it D3. And it doesn't say once per turn you can heal a model. Or that model can be healed once per turn, which it used to say. Now it just says you can heal the model D3 after the movement or command phase or whatever. So basically, both these guys can heal the model 2D3 once it gets hit. So also, you can buff it twice, so you can get +2 to hit. So if they have any negatives, like let's say they have -1, you're still hitting on 2s. You can't go from hitting on 4s to hitting on 2s, but he hits on 3s naturally. And if they have, let's say, a -2 to hit, let's say they have Death Guard, -1 ballistic skill, and then they have -1 to hit or whatever with stealth. Your +2 to hit basically negates that out, and then now you're hitting back on 3s. So that is what you can do with 2 Tech Marines, and if you don't need to, one can actually just focus on doing secondaries in the corner with your Dreadnought, with your Land Raider, and just kind of be there if you need them. So, and they're lone op next to the Land Raider. So 3 inches next to the Land Raider, they can't be shot outside 12 inches. So it's 60 points that you can either bring a henchman or run the Tech Marine. Then we have a Castling Crow. Obviously, I already told you guys, probably in almost every list I have, but Crow with the Purifiers, we already went over. Very good. Grandmaster, same thing. Sigil, Caldor Drago. So you can see a trend here. This time we just have 2 Tech Marines instead of the Librarian. Then down here we have Terminators. Strikes, these Terminators with Drago. We have a Strike Squad, obviously minimum 1 in every single list. Then we have our Land Raider. So Land Raider hitting on 2s is not as good as the Chaos Nurgle Land Raiders, but hitting on 2s is so much better than hitting on 3s. Like hitting on 2s with a Land Raider with fucking Godhammer last cannons, 4 last cannon shots, D6 + 1 damage, you're going to be killing shit. The Hunter Seeker Missile hitting on 2 naturally, and then the Multi Melta hitting on 2s, Storm Bolter hitting on 2s, and Twin Heavy Bolter hitting on 2s. It transports 12 models, I think. So the Interceptor Squad basically lives in it. So you have the 2 Tech Priests, the Land Raider, and an Interceptor Squad just always around this Land Raider, just protecting the shit out of it. Like it just doesn't want to die. But the Interceptors, they could basically start in the Land Raider, and you want to set them up so that way they're ready to do secondaries coming out of the Land Raider. So basically they can move out or get 3 inches out, disembark, move 12, so it's 15 inches, and then they can spend 1 CP to advance and shoot, which then they can do an action. So that's what, 15, 21, 21-inch range to do secondaries is pretty fucking big on a board. So I did in one of my games, I got behind me lines with the 21-inch movement with the Land Raider hopping out the Interceptors. So, or Interceptor Squad, good for the points, great for secondaries, starting in the Land Raider. Also, the combo is they can move in the shooting phase. So basically you get out in the movement phase, shoot, and then get back in the shooting phase. So they can move 6 inches, embark in the Land Raider, and then be protected. So if your Land Raider moves up, they get out in the movement phase, they can then shoot, and then they can hop back in. So it's a lot of like move, shoot, move, keeping them protected in the Land Raider. Until you need to really commit them or kill something, then they can hop out and go do whatever they got to do. Most of the game, they're going to be kind of babysitting the Land Raider, hopping in and out of it every single time. Then we have our 10-man Paladin brick, still really good with the Grandmaster. 10-man Purifier brick, again, teleporter assaulting everywhere with the dudes. So these are my 2 bricks. And then my 3rd kind of combo is the Land Raider sitting back, shooting big shit from afar. All right, and then obviously Kald Assassin, Inquisitor Henchman. So like I said, we have 60 points that if you don't want to run 2 Tech Priests, you can bring 1 Tech Priest out and change this Inquisitor Henchman into 2 Voidsman units. So you have 2 other units, secondaries coming from reserves to do secondary points for you. So that is the second fun list with a Land Raider. If you really want to run a Land Raider, you can get one. It's pretty cool. It does pretty well. And this is our last list, which is going to be the Purgation Squad. So Purgations aren't my favorite. This is kind of one that you really want to test out. Just a shit ton of side cannon shots, kind of different build. This is more of like a sit back, pretend you're Tau, and not kill as much, but shoot from 24 inches away and just be super sneaky shooting people. So we have our Brother Captain this time. The Brother Captain has the Sigil, and he's got a side cannon. I didn't post it there. We have Crow with the Purifiers again, and I'll explain why. And obviously every list should have Drago. So Drago's doing their kill demons and come down. But we have a Terminator Squad with Drago, 5-man Strike Squad, and this is where it gets fun. Grey Knight Venerable Dread. So the Venerable Dread is in there, 155 points, still way too expensive. You can put a multi-melta or whatever the fuck you want to equip him with. That's completely up to you. I like the close combat weapon in case people get close. But you have him in there to reroll 1s to hit and wound with infantry, not vehicles, not even himself. It's just infantry. Now what you can do, since we have teleport assault, And if you have different terrain that you can get 6 inches up for plunging fire, it's a ruin rule. You can hop 6 inches up with teleport assault and then shoot down for the extra AP. So most of our weapons now go from AP1 to AP2 from 24 inches away. So it's really good at getting that teleport assault, teleport assault and then shooting down for plunging fire. And then you measure the Venerable Dread from the actual body. So you measure from the top of its head 6 inches to the unit, and if they're within 6 inches, they get reroll 1s to hit and 1s to wound. So your 10-man paladin brick with 6 side cannons, hitting on 2s, exploding 6s, rerolling 1s. That's why I have the captain in this list over the Grand Master. So basically, you're getting a lot of rerolls of 1s because most of your shit's sitting on 2s. And then the wounding most infantry on 2s or 3s, you're rerolling 1s. So it's a really good combo with the paladins and the Venerable Dread. And your paladins kind of give you the line of sight for your purgation squads. So in here, we have 3 squads of 5 purgation, all with side cannons. So basically, we already have 6 plus 4, that's 10 plus 8. So it's 18 side cannons coming into the fray with the Dreadnought rerolling all 1s to hit and wound. It's a lot of fucking shots. You're basically just rolling most of your time in the shooting phase and trying to, just kill everything from 24 inches away. So if they get anywhere near you, you can try and kill them. Now, the only downside is they do get cover. So we're only -1. So whatever you have to kill is going to get their cover save. So kind of ignore AP2 and stuff like that. I'm sorry, 2-up saves. Like I said, it's not the best list. It's just fun to roll this many dice. And then we have our Purifier Squad. You can test out, instead of what's it called? Incinerators, you can do 4 side cannons as well. So kind of like the same idea. You just have more side cannons. So it's 22 side cannon shots, or 22 side cannons, which is 66 side cannon shots coming into the enemy every single turn until they start dying. If these guys get one guy dead, now the whole unit's hitting on 2s, rerolling 1s. And the Purified Flame even works with this, with the Venerable Dread, because they hit on 2s with 1 dead, and then rerolling 1s to wound on your anti-infantry 2+. So that's what I mean by the Venerable Dread is really only good in this specific type of list with all of the shots that are going out and all the rerolls. So we have Codias to try and help with some type of secondaries. This list isn't the best with secondaries, but your Dread could do something. Your Strike's obviously going to be doing a lot. Drago is going to be doing a lot. And everything else is really just shooting. So you have your Inquisitor Cotias, 75 points. You get a CP if your opponent gets a CP on a 2+. So they have an ability like the Eldar, Guard, Chaos, Space Marines. If they have a way to generate a CP, not with the secondary cards, but let's say an ability, then on a 2+, even Codias in reserves, on a 2+, you get a CP. So it kind of helps with us, CP generation, stuff like that. So 75 points, Codias, throw that in there. If you want to go Voidsman, yeah, I would just go Codias. Honestly, it's probably your best 75 point for there. Or an Assassin, 75 points. Yeah, I don't know. Up to you. You get 75 extra points to play around with. But this list is just fun to shoot. Doesn't kill a lot because it's AP1 and they get cover, but it's still just a shit ton of shots to go. So there are my 3 lists that I would suggest testing out, tweaking the way you want to run it. Hopefully stuff like this helps you guys out. Again, these 4 things, if you focus on this every single time you build a list, no matter what army you have, it's going to help generate a list that's going to be competitive, as well as have fun playing, because you're going to use, first off, your play style, then build the core of your list, and then add secondary units, and then test. So hopefully, again, hopefully this helps you out. Head over to Patreon if you want to support the channel, even if you want to throw $1 up so these videos come out to you first free, or free first on Patreon for $1. You can help support the channel and get first access to these videos. Plus, you have Patreon chat on Discord. We're going to be starting a once-a-week chat for our Patreons, our competitive and grandmasters, so that way you can kind of come on and chat with me and Matt and Mike, and we can go over kind of ideas, tactics, and all that stuff that's going to be specifically for the Patreons. And we're selling a bunch of stuff. New dice coming out in January. I will be back in the middle of November because I will be on my honeymoon. So yay, wedding. But appreciate it, guys. Thanks for clicking the video. Comment, like, do all the fun stuff for YouTube. And then we'll see you in another video soon. What's up, my Patreon? So thank you so much for supporting the channel. If you guys are new here, there's so much content coming up on Patreon. We're going to continue to grow the channel. We got other dirtbags joining the channel to make it a huge camaraderie dirtbag nation for you guys up on the Patreon. We have other factions joining the dirtbags as well. It's not just going to be specifically 4 factions that we play all the time. We are really good at those 4 factions, but we have other really good players joining the dirtbags, and we really want to grow the channel as much as possible. And it really is all thanks to the support from you guys donating, getting competitive dirtbags, the grandmasters. All of you guys are just, thank you so much. This video is really just made to give thanks to you guys who are either joining as you're watching this video or have joined over the past couple months. You guys have seen me live at tournaments and GTs, and even have flown out and met me, Cooper, to basically just hang out with us all weekend. So thank you so much, guys. I really appreciate it. More is going to grow from the channel in 2024, and I just can't wait to grow the Dirtbag Nation as much as we possibly can. So again, thank you so much, and appreciate you joining the Dirtbag Nation.